Yeah. All right, so number 4 is Jerry the King Lawler versus Andy the Prick Kaufman.
Yes. And we arrived at that because we had to eliminate another match or a series of rivalries that Jerry Lawler had, because it's one of those things where you could say, whoever came through Memphis could have been Jerry Lawler's rival, at some point. So we got it down to a national TV star on one of the number one, I say his top 10, it's probably number 1 at one point, Taxi.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Kaufman was on TV. Of course, now we know, years later, they made a movie out of Man on the Moon, and I guess no one was even smart enough back in the day. I know I wasn't, because they went on that put Memphis on TV on a national level, because Kaufman, just browbeat the hell out of those hicks from down there in Tennessee, and that Jerry Lawler. And
Mr. Lawler, I've heard all these things you've been saying about me on television. You want to wrestle me? You want to wrestle me, Memphis style? All right, fine. I'm not afraid of you, Mr. Lawler, because let me tell you something. True, I only wrestle women, but I've wrestled women that are a lot bigger and stronger than you. Matter of fact, they're probably smarter than you, because you don't have any brains. You're from Memphis, Tennessee. All you do is plow the fields and farm and the farm and is that how you talk to Memphis, Tennessee, Mr. Lawler? Boo. See, Mr. Lawler, you don't have any brains. I'm from Hollywood. I have the brains. That's how I win my matches. I say the bigger they come, the harder they fall. You might be twice as big as me, but I've wrestled women that are twice as big as me, and I've mopped the floor with them.
Of course, Andy Kaufman was a fucking intergender champion of the world, beating a woman out there back when you could do that back in the day.
Yep.
And they took it all the way to, they got on the David Letterman show, which was, just early on in his podcast or broadcasting career.
Jerry Lawler and Andy Kaufman are here, and we saw the tapes that allegedly provoked Mr. Lawler into the match. Andy, why did you do that? That didn't seem like a very nice thing to do there.
I don't see how a person could get so mad from that. I was playing bad guy. That's what I was doing. I was playing bad guy wrestler. It was a role I was playing. I wasn't serious about it. I don't take things like that seriously, like I am a star. I'm from, that was just a role I was playing.
Yeah. So in your estimation, Jerry,
and I think that he just was taking it too seriously.
You think he owes you an apology?
Look,
then?
I always said you didn't have a sense of humor, and here the people are all laughing at it.
Mm-hmm.
So it proves my point.
Yeah.
That's why I came here. It was because I asked for an apology. I apologized for all the wrestling I've ever done, all the abuse I've ever given to people that didn't understand what I was doing, and I simply think that apology is in order.
So it's come to this, has it, Andy? You want Jerry to apologize. Now, is this the way, would that be an equitable thing as far as you're concerned?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think I owe him an apology. I think, he says it was all a big joke. I'm sure it was to him. I think he came down there with the intention of...
Did you want to hurt him?
Well, yeah. I thought I had to hurt him.
In all the matches I ever had against 400 women, I'll tell you, I was bigger than most of them, a lot bigger, and not one time did anyone ever get hurt. Mm-hmm. I never had to prove anything. I never had to hurt. I was always very gentle with everybody I wrestled.
It's something that I take very seriously. It's the way I make my living, and he comes in making a joke out of it. He did it all for publicity. That's why he's still wearing, I don't know if it's a neck brace or a flea collar. I mean, I'm sure it would hurt, but you don't need it this long.
I was in the hospital.
He's milking it for every bit of publicity he can get. That's all he's doing.
I had to spend 3 days in the hospital in traction, and I was given this neck brace in the hospital. It's a very real neck brace. It's a real thing, and it's something.
It's been 5 months ago.
Yeah, it seems a little...
People have been in car wrecks and now they're,
I just don't think that there was any. It wasn't really called for to do. I could have been killed, and I could have had my neck broken.
But on the other hand, I mean, nobody actually forced you into the ring,
That's right. I don't come out here and try to do stand-up comedy or anything like that. I'm a wrestler. You're a comedian.
If you were the man that you think that you are, then you'd apologize. You're the man that you think that you say you are. Because you're always talking about being a sportsman and how you're such a
I never say anything about being a sportsman.
Let me.
Well, I thought you're an professional athlete. You're always talking about sportsmanship, and sportsmanship isn't just to go in the ring. And if it's a professional sport,
you're a comedian. You should stay telling jokes and things like that.
You don't have to go in the ring. Yeah, well, I was going in the ring, and it's something that I was doing, and it was no reason to hurt me.
As a joke, right? It's not a joke.
As a joke, yeah.
It's not a joke.
Well, it wasn't. It wasn't a joke to me.
Did you laugh after when you were laying in the hospital? Was it a joke then?
No, it wasn't. But there wasn't any reason to purposely hurt me. You could have proven the point by just beating me. You want to prove what a big man you are.
Let me just clear up one point here. There are a lot of people watching who probably view wrestling as being a show, a display, a demonstration, and this may be as the pinnacle representation of that. Was this thing fixed or rigged? Are you guys really friends? Was it a scam?
No, not at all. I couldn't warm up to this guy. We were cremated together. You know, he is a wimp. That's exactly what he thought. That's what he thought about wrestling. He thinks it's all a big joke, a big fix or whatever. And then you're right. There are a lot of people that think that.
You're nothing but a redneck. Well, and you're just trying to prove a point because I was a Yankee and I heard this from so many people in Memphis. I was going down there and because you believed all that stuff that I was.
There are a lot of people that think that, David, and he was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I did to Andy
and
exactly what I would like to do to everybody that thinks that way.
You're lucky I didn't sue you.
It was a chance to show him exactly what it's really like.
If there were, would you?
Because let me tell you something. My father said, my manager said, they all said that I had a right. I could have gotten a lawyer and I could have sued you for what you did, and I didn't. And all I want is an apology. Even you asked me last time I was on your show if I was going to have a lawsuit, and I could have sued you. I could have sued you for everything you're worth. Well, and I didn't because I'm not that kind of a guy.
Yeah. You know what?
What kind of a guy are you?
No, you're not the kind of guy you're.
I'll just be over here. We're going to pause here for station identification and get the hoses out here.
And man, it was just fucking. They I guess sold out. You know, Mid-South and just sold out. The TV was so fucking. The ratings I couldn't tell you. I'm sure. Jim Cornette or Jerry Lawler or someone could tell you how the ratings went through the roof when in the Louisville, Nashville, Memphis, those markets that when Kaufman came, a Hollywood movie star and TV star came to their arena, and Jerry Lawler fucking does the belly to back, gave him the headlock, and he gives him the belly to back, and he gives them the pile driver we talked about in moves. All those things, man. I mean, fuck. Jerry Lawler gave Andy Kaufman fucking cancer from giving him a pile driver in the middle of the fucking ring. And, of course, Andy Kaufman's no longer with us. But man, what a fucking, that's why, if you go back to our moves and finishing holds, the pile driver was up there near the top. I'm not going to give away our top 10 on that because we want you to go back and listen to that episode. But, man, what a fucking rivalry when you got a fucking Hollywood TV star on one of the top TV shows in the country coming to Memphis, Tennessee to wrestle Jerry the King Lawler. Because, he didn't have a very high opinion of people down here in Appalachia and out there in Memphis and all of us hillbillies. And he came out here and he got the fucking business over even more. So we had to put that rivalry in there. Jerry the King Lawler and Andy Kaufman.
Absolutely. And this is another one. We could have gone with Jerry Lawler versus about 5 other guys without a problem. We just kind of figured that the Kaufman one was a bigger deal. Because you got to remember, Andy Kaufman was on Taxi, but he was also on Saturday Night Live and the other show Fridays that went during its brief run.
Yep.
Andy Kaufman was ubiquitous to show business at the time. Andy, he was kind of a professional pissing people offer, I guess would be the only thing you could really call him. He'd get up on stage and then start to read The Great Gatsby. And then 10 minutes into it, when the audience stood up to leave, he'd start chewing their asses out. The guy was just, he was like next level entertainment. Like, people are just now getting some of his jokes.
Yeah, and The Great Gatsby, I'm an avid reader. Great Gatsby, my greatest, to me, that's my favorite novel, you mentioned it. But I was laughing because if you haven't seen it, you have to watch Breakfast with Blassie, and it's Andy Kaufman and Freddie Blassie having breakfast out in L.A. Have you seen that one?
I have never seen
45 minutes. Oh, go watch it.
Okay, I'm going to have to watch that.
You got to watch My Breakfast with Blassie. It's Andy Kaufman and fucking Freddie Blassie having breakfast at a diner out in L.A. It's fucking killer if you like that kind of comedy, and I know you do. But yeah, and the thing is, we could have went with 4 or 5 different guys that could have come through the Memphis area, and
really, I am not. I've had calls all week ever since Andy Kaufman did pass away. I've had calls from TV stations all across the country wanting to know my comments about Andy Kaufman's death. I'm really the wrong person to talk to about that. I didn't like Andy Kaufman. Andy Kaufman didn't like me. I'm sorry that the guy's dead, but I would think that, I always thought that when somebody dies, you talk to somebody that thought a lot of him. I hope that if I die, they don't interview Jimmy Hart because...
Texas, or was it Canada?